Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the internet. Welcome to the channel. It's me, Odio, and I'm here today to do another review for you. And today it's Invincible Season 3, Episode 6. This episode is called All I Can Say Is I'm Sorry, and let's find out why. Well. So this episode of Invincible, I gotta say, really reminded me of the Batman vs. Superman movie. Instead of seeing Superman fighting against Zod, you see Omni-Man fighting with Invincible, throwing him through buildings, hitting things, and of course, all kinds of people dying. And we're following this guy in the ground, Scott, instead of Bruce Wayne. And Scott's there with his sister and his niece, and they're kind of hanging out in the city, doing their thing, having a good day and whatever. And all of a sudden, Invincible gets thrown through a building. Omni-Man's fighting him, and long story short, they get crushed and killed. Scott does not let it go. Just like in Batman vs. Superman, he wants Superman, and not Superman though, Invincible brought to justice, tries to get him taken to court, says he should have to face justice for all the bodies of all the people he killed. And this guy really wants it, but everyone's pretty much telling him, like, what do you want us to do? It's Invincible. He was fighting against, a threat to our whole planet. Like, sometimes there's casualties. Sorry, man. In case you couldn't tell, though, of course, Scott's not going to take that for an answer, but we'll come back to him later. As that's going on, we get Invincible. He's now hanging out at the house. He's back home living with Oliver and them. And Oliver and him and Eve are now all part of Invincible Inc. And you see Oliver getting some training. He's fighting that elephant guy from season 1. And the elephant's like, hey, are you just using me for training? Because Oliver's down there fighting him. They're like, don't hit the restaurant, Oliver. We're going to get some burgers after. I guess they're now all kind of working together, sort of like a family business plus Eve. Anyway, back at their house, that new guy Paul is there with his mom. He makes them some homemade spaghetti. They're all kind of having a nice chat. He's trying to fit into the family. It's pretty cool. I like his character. They do him pretty well. And they keep cutting back over to Scott getting crazier and crazier and going deeper and deeper into his revenge story. We also get some moments with Rex Explode. We find out pretty much after he's been adopted and stuff that it's not even really his superhero persona. It's really just who he is. And Ray says she's going to quit. She wants to leave the team, doesn't want to do it anymore. I think she's not happy. Getting eaten by that guy and not being able to come out, I think really messed her up, which it definitely would. I wouldn't want to come back after that either. Then Invincible and Eve head out bowling. It's Invincible's friend's birthday, so that's where he wants to go is bowling, and he's totally smoking Invincible at it. And we get Amber. She's back, and she's got a new man who's got a Seance dog shirt on. They kind of bond over that. Every time I see the Seance dog, I just remember when Invincible actually went there before in that other realm. Pretty awesome to see that. I love all the references to that. So anyway, he goes up to get some food. Him and Amber run into each other. They're not dating anymore. Now he's with Eve and she's with Keith and whatever. So he gets some cool. It's nice seeing her again. They get a little chat going on, some bowling fun where his friend gets to win. And then as that's happening, you get Crazy Scott. He's got a whole plot going on. So through all the years seeking revenge from Invincible, he's gotten married, had a kid, got a job at the GBA, and he's able to steal these. He's got like a little power where he can absorb some electricity. He can only do a little tiny bit, but he gets these things that he can they're like, I don't know what, pods almost, and he sticks on himself. They inject in so he can absorb more and more. So the harder you hit him, the more he can hit back. And his plan is to get hit a whole bunch of times and use that power to kill Invincible and get the revenge for his sister and his niece. It's pretty cool. He goes down to the middle of town. Kind of reminds me of Shocker from the Spider-Man movie. Just starts electrocuting things, starts screaming out for Invincible. And it's hilarious. Invincible sees him on the TV when he's bowling. He just turns it off. Like, whatever. I'm not going to deal with that. The Guardians of the Globe sent Shapesmith there to try to take care of him. I like Shapesmith. He's hilarious. Nobody knows who he is. He kind of reminds me of Booster Gold. But he gets there and he's like, I'm going to take care of this. So he starts trying to beat up Scott, he calls himself Powerplex now that he's got those things injected and he can take it. So he's casting electricity, and the harder Shapesmith hits him, the more damage he absorbs, the more Scott as Powerplex can shoot back at him. So he eats a whole bunch of shots from Shapesmith, does this big electric explosion, thinks he kills him and everything. It's like a nutso explosion, and then he just runs away. He's like, I'm sorry, you saw he was attacking me, and he just runs away. Invincible never gets him there. But it's pretty clear Powerplex is more of a threat than I thought, because at first I was like, what's this guy going to do? But he seems to be able to absorb a lot of damage when he gets hit, and then he just releases it back out. Like, that's pretty cool. I almost had to pause it at one point too, because every time Powerplex says Invincible, the title card would pop up. It's like 5 times. Like, I'm here for Invincible. Where's Invincible? And every time the title card would pop up, it kind of made me laugh. Also, too, we see Monster Girl and Robot. He's developed a belt so that when she transforms back and forth, she'll no longer be de aging. Yay! So she'll be able to at least stay the same age she is now. I don't know if she'll be able to get older, but that was cool. We don't get a lot of the side characters in this, but you get that moment. I thought that was pretty awesome. She tries the belt on and transforms and realizes she's the same age. So it was pretty cool. Then later on, after Powerplex evacuates and gets back home with his wife and his little boy, she's really into this let's kill Invincible thing. I don't know who Maria was to her, but like my goodness, she really wants Invincible dead. So she keeps pushing him to do it. And so there's going to be a big memorial service. He goes down there, starts trying to fight everybody, calling out Invincible. Eve goes out, actually ends up fighting him. They have a pretty cool fight. Like he's pretty strong, but once Eve figures out that every time she hits him, he gets stronger, she just kind of ties his hands down. The Guardians of the Globe show up and they arrest him and they go to take him off to jail. But oh no, he's not going to jail. He starts smashing his head against the back of the, because they're driving him in one of those trucks, smashes his head, bursts through with all the electricity. Then he goes and takes his own wife and kid hostage. He's just doing it for pretend. But he even tapes up his little boy Jack. It's such a sin. And then when Invincible finally is like, you know what? That's it. I'm going to have to go get this guy. He gets some information from the Guardians of the Globe, realizes where Scott is, and says, "That's it. I'm going to have to go take care of business." And when Invincible finally shows up to go to war with Powerplex, holy cow, it is psycho. It was awesome to see on the screen. Like he's just going at it, punching him. And the more he hits him, the more Powerplex charges up. And he ends up like shooting this big electric bolt out, electrocuting everything around him. He roasts his own family. It's nuts. And they keep showing you their bodies. It's so cryptic. Like I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, no. And they keep being there in the background. And Invincible finally defeats him just by pretty much hugging him and making him waste all of his energy and like takes him off to jail. But holy cow, what a climax. I was like not expecting it to go that way. I'd read some of these comics back in the day, but I didn't remember that. And like, wow, it was shocking. Then, of course, one of the other great things about Invincible is the old after the credit scene. This time we see one of those orbs and realize at the other end of it, it's Angstrom Levy. What? Yeah, the guy he killed in season 2 is back. His face looks like it's all stitched together, like it was ripped apart or whatever. And then you see he's in a room with what looks like a whole bunch of Invincibles, probably from all the different galaxies and worlds he can step into. So we're going to get the Invincible War. Oh, it's going to be awesome. This was a great episode. I really liked it. Get some character development, get some fights, and you really get some emotion out of that Powerplex guy. They can't kill him. They have to just pretty much put him in jail because they can't remove those probe things without him dying. So he says he's going to come back and get Invincible one day. So I guess another arch enemy for Mark. But overall, another awesome episode. This season has been great. Each episode's like movie quality. You get so many things happening, and it's such an interesting storyline with great action and awesome voice acting. Thanks so much for watching this far, guys. I really appreciate that. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, everybody, stay out of trouble.